Hello again, everybody. I'm AJ Mazzolini here with another edition of Griz Tracks.
And I'm Bill Speltz, Griz football beat writer for the Mazzolini.
And we're still here in the middle of fall camp with the Grizzlies about a week and a half now under their belts as they're preparing for that first game of the season against Wyoming down in Laramie. We had our first preseason scrimmage last weekend, this Sunday actually.
Yeah, AJ, I think that Coach Delaney was real pleased with what he saw, all things considered. He's got some guys banged up in the offensive line, but they did some good things. He'd like to see them run the football a little bit better, but they were able to execute fairly well. And then the defense was playing fast, which he's really stressing that and tackling here in the preseason.
Yeah, and on the offensive side, it sounded like there were some pretty big plays, especially in the passing game, seemed to be clicking early on.
There were a couple of big plays. One, for example, Josh Janssen, who prepped at Loyola Sacred Heart.
Yeah, Missoula boy.
Right, had a 59-yard pass reception. That was from backup quarterback Brady Gustafson. But, yeah, and, you know, part of their offense this year, obviously, with a younger offensive line, is that is going to be Jordan Johnson moving around in the pocket, and he did some of that. That's gonna be key for him, I think.
Yeah, and luckily he's a senior guy at this point with a lot of experience, and hopefully be able to go with the play a little bit, maybe more so than he's really had to in the past. Because as you were saying, that offensive line is going to be a bit of a question mark, and a story that we're going to be following throughout the preseason and really into the season. A lot of guys gone from last year, and even some of the guys that are back, they're in tough shape. We got a couple guys that aren't even playing right now, aren't even suited up.
That's right, AJ. I think that it's actually the number one story leading into this season. You've got the most talent they have is at offensive tackle with Trevor Poole, who started the last 2 years, and with John Schmang, who has almost as much as experience at the other tackle position. Well, Poole may not play all season. It's the way Delaney puts it right now, it's not looking great. He's got a back issue. He used the word stenosis. So we just have to see how that progresses. Maybe he will be able to get out on the field. You just don't know. And now this week, after Schmang had a good scrimmage on Sunday, he's had an appendectomy, so he's going to be sidelined for a little while.
Right, nothing you can avoid there. But he's going to be out for a couple weeks. Maybe we were just about 3 weeks away from the game down there in Wyoming. And then you got to worry about maybe conditioning with him coming back if he can come back in time for that game, because now he's going to have to sit around for a little bit of time and take it easy.
Definitely, and it's important to note that he was practicing with the number 2 offensive line the first week of practice. So
right.
I don't know whether it was a situation where they were just trying some other guys or they were just trying to light a fire under Schmang, but they've got a couple of young guys that they're happy with their progress, but they still need to make a lot of progress, and that's sophomores Jackson Thebes and Devin Dietrich.
Yeah, and they're definitely going to need that if things kind of continue the way they're going. Another interesting position battle, it seems like, at least, is in the place kicking category here. We got Chris Leiter back from last year who did some nice things, but now there's a couple other guys that are kind of pushing him.
Yeah, and as we're recording this on Wednesday, Chris Leiter had the best practice today. He kicked a 46-yarder with some room to spare, so I'm sure he was happy about that. He's the lefty. And then the 2 other challengers, Daniel Sullivan, who kicked for Wyoming in 2011, and Harrison Greenberg, are battling it out. They've both had some good kicks, but Harrison of the 3 is probably has the least lift to his kicks. Mm-hmm. And Sullivan is kind of the wild card. He looks good. He really gets a lot of leg into it, but he's been inconsistent.
Yeah, and it'll be kind of curious to watch that go along. 3 different kickers battling for really one spot that they're going to have. We'll get a chance to see those guys a little bit more, as well as these new young guys on the offensive line and some defensive guys who are doing some nice work. Because there's 2 more scrimmages, coming up here in Missoula over the next 2 weekends before we actually get into the games.
That's right. There'll be a scrimmage this Saturday at 10 o'clock in the morning. So if you're not doing anything, you might want to catch a little bit of that. And then they'll have one more the following Saturday at Washington Grizzly Stadium.
Yeah, and we'll look forward to those, as well as that opener against Wyoming. And check back with us every Thursday evening for Griz Tracks video, as well as keeping up with the Montana Grizzly football team in print with the Mazzolian and online at Mazzolian.com. Check back with us next week. Thanks.